Hey, welcome back to another exciting show. We have book 108 today. Our show is YOMO. YOMO is stand for Year of Magical Learning, and we are here to learn. And so we're gonna read a book, we reflect on what we learned and discuss about and try to understand more of it. So here we go, book 108. So take it over, Chris.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I feel like this will be, you know, this is. I don't. Did you already read this one by any chance? I mean,
I know we talk about it, and
yeah,
it aligns with what we did with company. So
right.
I think it would be a good lessons to learn, and I think it's a concept we should embrace.
Yeah, it'll be a robust discussion around something that we're both passionate about. So
Hmm.
looking forward to the conversation today. The book that we're going to be discussing is called Free Agent Nation: The Future of Working for Yourself by the author Daniel Pink, which I know you know Daniel Pink.
Hmm.
I'm a pretty big fan of his. I think this is the third book that I've read of his. He's always just really provocative. He's very thorough, and he's also at the same time he knows how to make it concise. It's not really wordy.
Right. Very definitive purpose, and he has a very clear point he wants to make. And he does make them very well.
Yeah,
I just ask me whatever. No, he has some specific point that he wants to make, and he wants to say, hey, this is what I see, right? And these are the reasons why you think it is the way it is. So to me, he's one of the, I guess, a clear thinker in my mind.
yeah, and I love how it's just a single concept too that he like
Right.
juxtapose that to like Taleb or something like that, and you're like, all over the map, and there's just, I mean, it's just all over the place. He has a singular line of thought that he's kind of weaving through it, but it goes all
Hmm.
over the map throughout the whole thing. Like Daniel Pink's always just, hey, this is what we're talking about. This is what I researched the hell out of. This is
Right. What you talking about, Daniel Pink is aligned more of a literary kind of person. Taleb, he's a writer, but he's an idea kind of guy
he's more like
versus
a
this guy is more
philosopher.
training in terms of how to express things. So that's what he does for a living,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So
Yeah,
so
exactly.
so his ideas are more like coordinated. It's not to say the ideas are better, they both have their own strengths, but it's just Daniel Pink, that's what he does. So it's easy for him to wield the pen than Taleb is. Taleb is more a thinker, and he does write. He writes a lot, but he writes a lot of like short letters and
Right.
whatnot. This guy is like, this is what he does for a living. Taleb is he's a trader.
Right. Right.
That's what
Yeah.
makes his money.
Yeah, he's all over the map. But anyway, I like Daniel Pink. I guess moral of the story, I think you do as well. And the book that we're going to be talking about today is a book that he actually wrote 20 years ago, 2001. I honestly, like, I mean, I can't even really believe it. When I was reading this book, I actually thought it was like written a few years ago. I didn't really look to see when it was actually written. The concepts that he talked about in this book were very spot on. I mean, almost every prediction that he predicted back in 2001 of the future of the working economy in general, how the workforce and the workplace would develop, and what we would do, it's pretty much just come true for the most part. I mean, it's pretty spot on. And if you think back to 2001, like that was not, like, the internet wasn't. I mean, I'm trying to remember back to my own life in 2001. My dad was in the technology industry, so we had like nice PCs and CD-ROMs and things like that, and burners, external drives, back in like the mid 90s or something along those lines. But like, in 2001, like, I don't know. I still had a desktop. I went to college. My first year in college was 2002. I still had a big old desktop that I had to lug into there because everybody had a desktop. Like, I mean, we didn't even have laptops. Like, we definitely didn't have smartphones. I think Blackberries were maybe like in the early stages at that point in time. Like, so I mean, the whole idea of the remote working world wasn't easy to do back then, and he really kind of nailed it, honestly.
He wrote that book when having remote wasn't prevalent, so
Right.
it's not to say that there isn't any. It's just saying that, these are like the minorities, so rare in terms of who's working remotely. And for him to say, well, this is going to become the future, that's a pretty accurate prediction.
Anyway, so the reflection that this thing made me think about was, the title of this one is "Why Not Both?" So here's the thing: as we've talked about this many times, there's no secret to this. Like, I work at a large company, one of the largest enterprise software companies in the world. It's not that I don't like the culture, I don't like the people. It's a great company, it's a great place to be at. But the truth of the matter is, they don't know me at all. All these things that we talk about, my values through this whole entire journey and our values that we care about, they don't give a shit. And that's not their fault. That's how it's designed. Like, it is designed to be like, hey, this is our mission, this is our values. And, you put on that jacket when you walk into it's like a Letterman jacket of like, I'm now like a new person, right? Like I got to check my identity at the door basically and walk into here and to be who you want me to be for us to make this super organism get to where it needs to get to,
Yes,
right? And
you got to get into the role.
yeah, I mean, it's literally like putting on a costume or something like that. It's like a whole nother set of skin, because it's not how I feel inside. It's not how I want to express myself. It's not what I would call meaningful work. But what it does provide, what it lacks in meaningful work and having to check your own identity and values at the door, it makes up for in many other ways in terms of security and community, right? I love my coworkers. I love our values. I love watching them grow and develop, and I love spending time with them. They're all really talented people, and things like that. So like and then also I love having a paycheck and being able to pay for my life and understanding how to manage my family's finances and my own personal finances and not have to worry about where my next meal is coming from. Like, I mean, so there's some security and community that does come with that. Now, on the other end of the equation, you have the free agent lifestyle. That seems like that solves all the problems, right? You get the meaningful work. You get to be Chris and you get to be true and you get to go do the things you want to do that matter to you. And you get to go produce meaningful work that matters to you. If you're going to do work, you better do meaningful work. But the problem that you get on that side of the equation is you lose the community, you lose stability, you lose the meaningful relationship side of everything, right? So you have corporate America where you lose your meaningful work. You have freelancer world where you lose your meaningful relationships and your security and other human things that matter to being a robust human being. And it sucks. So there's no perfect solution here. And so my question, and the question that you and I have had, our beautiful question together is, why can't we have both? Like, why can't you have an environment where you still have community and security and at the same time can still produce meaningful work? It doesn't seem that crazy of an idea. Like, to do what you want to do, that what you care about, but also be around other people that matter and you have the security and you have people to share this life with, because all of these things are important, right? Meaningful work and meaningful relationships. So you and I, what we've taken that idea and turned it into is something that we call Clubbany, which is all that wrapped into one. And it's something that was our kind of beautiful question that we've been working through. And I feel like we're getting somewhere. We have a long way to go. I know you and I are both passionate about this, but I feel like we're doing some amazing stuff here. And as I wrote on the bottom of this, like we're on to something and we have a lifetime of work to do, but stay tuned because we just might change the world. Like, we like to joke around and call this our own Black Swan event that's slowly developing of how we're going to change the way that the world does work,
Right.
And yeah, I can't wait to see what that happens. So I'd love to get your thoughts, the idea of why not both, right?
Right. And the option is you either have your community, but you have no identity,
Right.
or you're going to have your identity and no community, right? And these are the options they give you. It's always this binary, these opposites, these extremes. Like, and in reality, there's no such thing as black and white because there's so many gray areas. You have to find the perfect spectrum for you in between those two. Because for people to thrive is they have to have both, right? It should be both.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to leave one at the door, like to go to work every day, I mean, like that's just not cool. Oh, sorry, go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you. Yeah, keep going.
Right. So it's one of those things where I think the needs and demands are basically being pushed on more people are creating a company, for example, to address and to make these things work.
Right.
Because back in the day, in 2000, when you become a consultant, for example, right, you can't get healthcare just because no one's offering any individual healthcare. So more and more groups like this are actually popping up and start catering to the needs of these. Where you're talking about, hey, you get the freelance together and form your own, more like a loosely attached group. Say, hey, we're still a group like a union would be, and I can use the power of the group of a quote unquote union or whatever you kind of call these groups. They're not union. They're just, hey, we just band together and say have freelancer insurance, for example, and then it allows these freelancers to have the freedom they wanted, but also have the healthcare,
security,
the water cooler, the sounding board, right? So more and more of these entities are popping up, and because people really wanted to have that identity, because for so long we have been suppressed. We have been taught to suppress our identity, and now it's making a big resurgence just because you think about having so much pressure, putting a lid on something that is kind of like push, in a cooker, a pressure cooker for so long that it start to bust, and it's busting now. And now you look at the millennials, right? They don't want to go and work for a company.
Right.
Right now, there is they call it a great resignation. There's a great shortage of talents. The trend you can see is that a lot of the young guys, for example, like me, myself, would be, we start at the beginning and we start working for corporate, and then we make really, really good money, right? But then once we make really good money, we start to branch out on our own and make
Right.
less money,
Right.
right? And so you have a good trend in terms of how much you're making, and suddenly you drop because we think that's the only way to get our identity back is to have enough money, enough nest egg to break
Right.
free. And that's what
Yeah.
we do. Say, hey, when I make enough money, I'll do my own thing. I'll be freelancer. I'll be, just like people say, when I retire, I will do this, I will do that, do whatever. And to me, that's one of the way we try to escape. But a lot of times society keep pushing the retirement age to much, much, much
Yeah,
later. So you have
retirement is
barely
stupid. Like, you shouldn't ever have to retire from anything. If you're doing something you care about, do it for the
yeah.
rest of your life. One of the reflections from Thirst, the book, don't be afraid of things that work that doesn't end. Like, I mean, we want work that doesn't end. Like, that's what keeps us going. That's your icky guy. It's all the stuff that we've talked about, right? My dad just retired. He's 65. He worked his whole entire life. He's a baby boomer, and he just retired this year in January. I was blessed enough to spend 3 weeks with him the past 3 weeks when our AC went out, with our family. And, seeing my dad, like, I could tell he's struggling with this right now. His whole entire life, he's been a corporate dude. That was his identity. My dad wears multiple hats and he does a lot of other fun things that he has on the side that are hobbies. But in terms of what he wants to do every single day, he's lost right now.
Your identity for so long that whenever you say, well, I don't have to put on this coat and become this role or take on that person's personality, whatever, then when you say, well, what was my personality? I don't remember. I don't want to know. I completely forgot. Because you basically, I guess, become the person that you try to emulate. So whatever that role is as a corporate guy, that's all he knows. And so now that he doesn't have to put on that coat anymore, he completely forgot the kind of person he wanted to be.
I asked him that. I flat out asked him. I was like, Dad, what do you like to do? And he's like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, because he's trying to find a job right now. And I'm like, what do you want a job for? And he goes, I'm just bored. He's like, I don't know. I want to go do something. And I was like, what do you like to do? And he's like, I don't know. Dad, that's like, start there. I was like, don't look for a job and try to just, just so you can have something to do. I was like, do what you like, and then the job will just come, it'll naturally align. I was like, my dad has a lot of random hobbies that he does, right? My dad loves scuba diving, right? So, I mean, I could see my dad going to teach scuba diving lessons or something like that at a local scuba diving place and doing it for free. Probably he would probably love to do it just for free so he can get his own dive time and he'll never get bored. But then maybe he ends up buying the place or something. Maybe he ends up starting his own little class or whatever.
I
Goes down to Florida and he becomes a scuba instructor down there or something. I mean, I don't know. Like, just do what you like to do and it'll guide you to where you want to go. Like, as long as the work is meaningful, you can do it for the rest of your life, kind of thing, right?
That's exactly right. Just because, people, like, that's what I'm saying is, people have this notion of, when I retire, or when I have time, or when I get to this point, then I will do things that I want to do. And to me, that's the wrong way of thinking, because I am very, very sure up to this point now, and at a stage of my life, I know for a fact that if you do something that you really like, no one can compete you in it. No one can spend more time than you in it. It's not possible for someone to not like it and be outplay you in the things that seems play to you, but seem like work for others. It's just not possible. And so that's to me, this is the twist that people just don't realize that, yes, the thing is for you to already on this quest that it wasn't your chosen. You didn't choose a quest, but you were on this quest. And for you to transition over to something that you want to do, that's not possible on a snap of the finger, but it's possible if you start to plan out your transitions. But you can transition immediately. You don't have to wait until, oh, when I'm 40 or when I have this much money or when I'm retired, because by that time, you completely lost touch of who you are,
Right.
who you were. And then you basically get to the point where you completely lost. And when you're lost, you get depressed. We talked about this yesterday. If you lost, you're depressed.
Right.
Right. And when you're depressed, they give you drugs.
That's right.
It just never ends. You're not going to be able to get out of this conundrum just because.
Well, you can. The sad part is it's probably with an atomic blast that'll wake you up, Otherwise, you're, like you said, you're probably stuck in this. I mean, because how rare do you think it is for somebody to just have a paradigm shift on their own at that age or at that certain point in their career?
I don't think anyone can have a paradigm shift unless there's an external factors that actually resonate with the thing that you do. And for two frequency to match up perfectly at the right time is super rare.
I agree. I mean, it's like that book, Late Bloomers, that we talked about, right? Those people were just doing meaningful work their whole entire lives, and it didn't all kind of come together until later on. But at the same time, most people give up. They're like, I need security. I want to be around people. I don't want to be Vincent van Gogh. I mean, that's what you get when you become Vincent van Gogh. You chop your ear off and kill yourself. Right.
Because you think about,
that's hilarious.
Vincent van Gogh has a tough childhood.
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah, his life is awful. He can't do anything. I mean, everything he does is subpar, right?
Yeah.
And he was famous only because he spent so much time painting. Not because he has a talent that is above average.
Right.
He was good because he spent so much. That's the only thing he could do with a reasonable talent, right? It's not even a talent of painting, right? He paints so many to sheer volume that make him who he is. And the only reason why he can do that is because he likes it.
Right. Thing that he liked. That was his meaningful work that kept him from going crazy.
That's his outlet of keeping himself busy, right?
And keeping himself alive, really, what it was, because clearly without it, he killed himself. You know what I mean? Like
same thing with Charles Darwin.
Right.
When Charles Darwin is not like the genius, right? His cousin is like a prominent doctor. His dad was a doctor, right? Charles Darwin. You read his biography, right? His dad was a doctor, and his dad wanted him to be a doctor as well. He couldn't make it. He couldn't do it. And then his dad wanted him to be a priest or something in the church, and he can't even do that, right? And the thing is, he's just fascinated by collecting plant samples and whatnot, and that's the only job he has, and everybody's against him, against his decision to go on the USS Beagle to collect plant samples and send back to the royal court. Yeah. And he defied his family wishes, and because he loved it so much that he did a great job at discovering the evolution of mankind, right? And so to me, if you like something, no one can compete with you on being you. I mean, I'm rephrasing somebody's quote, but I'm sure somebody said that. No one can beat you on being you. And that's exactly 100%. What you should be doing. Because imagine if you say, well, I'm going to wait until I get this, or wait till retire. Well, the thing is, you're wasting a lot of time. You just throw away so much opportunities to become who you really want to be. By the time you retire, you forgot who you wanted to be.
I think people conflate the idea of being good at something with it being meaningful. Like, I'm good at sales. I've had success at sales. But once again, I don't really care about the outcomes anymore at this point in time. The outcomes in the past that I've had would lead somebody to say that I have some skills in selling, right? But does that mean that it's meaningful to me? These two are not the same thing, right? And I feel like, a lot of people that are in, even in both, freelancer and corporate world, like, they end up doing something that they're like, I'm good at it, but it doesn't mean that it's meaningful. What we all really want is, like you said, work that feels like play, like, this is not easy what we do. This is at least 3.5 hours a day outside of all the other crap that we both do in our lives collectively, of reading, writing, curating stuff, posting stuff. Like, this is a really big time commitment that we've dedicated to this project and a lot of other projects and Clubany and all the other things that we're doing. And
it's just one of those things where I said before, it's not something I dedicate myself to. It's just,
no, I enjoy it.
Why do you eat? Can you just stop eating?
Because I have to, right?
No, it's not
'cause I
because you
like it.
had to, because you wanted to.
Right, I'm hungry.
The point is you wanted to. You could stop eating. You can eat every 2 days or 5 days you want. That's
Right.
what we did before. So you have every capacity to eat every other day. But no, we eat every day. Sometimes we eat 2 times a day, right? Is it because we're committed to eat? No, we eat because I wanted to.
Right.
So for me, doing this thing is like, I'm not committed to it. I'm saying, hey, I did it because I like it.
Right, exactly.
I wanted to. I'm
It's
not
meaningful.
dedicating anything to it. I'm not saying, oh, I'm putting effort. It's like, okay, fine. Then if you say, well, you're putting effort into it, then stop eating. Just stop eating. Because the thing is, what happens when you stop eating? You feel terrible.
Well, yeah, you're right.
The thing is, when you like something, you stop doing it. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
If I stopped doing my job tomorrow, I would not feel terrible.
Exactly.
I can guarantee you that. That's a good barometer.
But for you,
for both sides of the house, like, you know, me, freelancer and corporate world, if you stopped doing what you were doing today, tomorrow, would you feel terrible? Without a doubt, my answer would be no on that.
I mean, the thing is, it's not like somebody pays you to eat. You know what I mean?
Oh, no, you pay other people to eat.
Exactly. Find something that you do because you want it to, and you're willing to pay people to let you do it.
But then the question then becomes, well, that sounds great in theory, but how do you do that, right? Like, I got to pay my bills. I got, you know, like, we're not living in utopia, la la land or whatever. And that's where Clubbing comes into play, right? It's a mixture of giving people that freedom and security.
We are going to
our beautiful question is, how do you do all this stuff and make it sustainable, right? To have people be able to find meaningful work and then live that meaningful work, but also still keep the security and keep the community around and create those serendipitous moments where they can all connect together, where these meaningful work projects combine together, and then all of a sudden it becomes like way bigger, you know, eventually at some point in time. And then you have this great new hybrid work environment where there's all kinds of projects going on all over the place. People feel safe and secured and protected to be able to do what they want to do. You know, it actually reminds me of Iceland. I can't even remember the book. I feel like it was an Eric Weiner book. Yeah, it was Eric Weiner, when he was talking about Iceland and the geography of genius, I believe it was.
Happiness or something.
Yeah, geography of happiness. Yeah, bliss, I think. And he talked about there's more writers per capita. Like 1 in 10 people in Iceland write a book. 1 in 10. Like, I mean, what do you think that number is in America?
1 in 100?
I don't even know if that's true. I mean, like, you think 1%, you think 3.3 million people in this country have written a book?
No, it's probably too high.
I mean, how many people, just take a guess at how many people you think have written a book?
Probably less than 1 million.
I don't even know if it's
much less than 1 million.
Right. Maybe... Like, I mean, that's it. Like, so if America was in the same keeping as like Iceland, you know, that would mean that 33 million people would have written a book, you know, in this country. Can you imagine that? 33 million people writing a book. The only reason that's even possible is because the government there does support people and gives them the opportunity to produce their meaningful work, and they feel the liberty to go do so. If they fail, they have a safety net, right? They don't have to worry about, like, if I fail at Salesforce, I get fired, and like then I got to go scramble and find another job. If I fail at the next job, I get fired, and I got to go find another place to go scramble and whatever. You know what I mean? If I want the security, I got to just keep on that hamster wheel as long as I possibly can to keep fighting for security, basically, right? But on the other end of the equation, if I'm a freelancer, I have no security. It is incredibly scary and risky. Like, I mean, to think like, I don't want to, meaningful work's important to me, but also, you know, making sure that my son has food to eat, you know, every single night is also really important to me, you know, and making sure that my wife,
right?
Right. Like, I don't know why we have to make these extremities, you know, of the way that work is supposed to be done here. Like, it can be together and we can find that way, and we're going to find that way. Like, mark my fucking words. Like, I know you and I both are in this until we fucking find a solution going forward. And we are going to find that path. I think we have a good idea of how we go do that. Now we just need to start to go execute on it. We spent years formulating this stuff, talking about these things, learning, understanding, coaching, mentoring people, and trying out experiments. We've certainly done a lot of work to even get to this point.
I want to kind of pause there for a bit. It's like, you mentioned we do a lot of work, but none of these seems like work to me.
We do a lot of activity,
you know. We do activity, but it doesn't feel like work to me.
Right.
And so it's one of those things where we don't get paid for it. We actually even pay people. We actually even pay some of
Yeah,
these people.
we did. Our first
to help them
ever
out.
explorer, we paid him to do it, and I'm glad we did, honestly, because
Mhm.
we're going to pay people to join Clubity. I mean, like that blows my mind. If I was hearing this from somebody else, I'd be like, "What's the catch? Like, you're gonna pay me 80 grand a year to just live my values, like, that's it?" And I would be like, I don't get it. Like, what's the catch? Like, what are you guys trying to do? Nothing. Like, we're just trying to see what would happen if you were just able to go do what you wanted to do, what mattered to you. We're going to help you first to figure out what is important to you, and then we're going to let you go do that, like, and let's see what happens.
I mean, that's the thing, is you go back to what I'm saying, if somebody were to give me free food, right? Like, geez, free food? I would eat that every day. I would eat as
Right.
much as I could, right? Every day we are dishing out our hard-earned dollars to buy food so we can eat it.
Right.
I mean, it's like you can skip meals and save some money, but you don't, because you want to feel good. So you eat, right? So you find the things that people is willing to do without having to, compensate you for it. And that's, to me, is the meaningful work, right?
Yeah.
The work for the activity, quote unquote activity, is the work, right? It's work, quote unquote, but it's the activity in itself, the action that you do, that
Yeah.
makes it meaningful.
We should, I mean, I'm open to, because obviously, as we know, be impeccable with your words, right? I'm open to, do you think the word meaningful work is the right way to express what we're talking about? Because I know that you and I both know what we're talking about. You're right. Like, the word work, like, immediately comes to mind of people like, I got to go do work, right? Like, I mean,
I don't want to do for someone else's so that they
right.
can pay me for it. I mean, the work has that connotation of an exchange of compensation for
Your,
values, or something that
your
it's like,
time,
it's
yeah.
almost like a sacrifice.
It is, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's so it's like, hey, I need to give you something that I want, which is my time, right? I give you my time for the money, but
Right.
I can't have both. And the thing is, we would say, why can't you have both? You should have both.
You should have. I mean,
Because
it
the
would
thing
make
is,
more sense.
so imagine a business where I come to you, you give me something and money, and I take it and I leave. What kind of business is that? Is there a business that exists?
I don't know. Why would a business,
So
you come to
somebody
them
call,
for a
they call
service?
you, right? They call you, say, hey, True, I have something for you. You come by, you pick it up, and they give you money to pick it up.
I don't know. Maybe like American pickers, like, like the people that go, like, dumpster diving in people's houses for like antiques and stuff,
It's 1-800 got junk.
No, not 1-800 got junk.
But I'm telling you, the
you're
business.
saying, you're saying that is the business you're thinking of.
Yes, is the thing is, most of these things is not junk to the people.
Right.
Like, so I like the business 1-800 get junk, right? They comes and they pick up the stuff and they take that and re-salvage it and they sell it again.
Right. That's
But
what. Well,
then the owner also gives.
you know what? I got to give myself a little bit of credit. That's kind of what I was saying. You know what American Pickers is?
No,
It's TV.
explain.
It's a TV show on History Channel, I think, where these two guys, they're called pickers. They just go into people's properties, like their old sheds and barns and shit like that. They find like wheels and oil cans and whatever, and then they offer people money for them to buy them, to flip them and sell them.
It's not the same thing, because it is when I call the 1-800 junk, they come and they pick up the stuff, whether it's a shed or whatever's inside the shed, right? I
Right.
say, I don't want these gone, right? They take the stuff inside the shed and they put it in a truck. I give them $300. The owner is giving you away the shed,
that's fair. Right.
giving $300 to the guy who comes to pick it up. The American picker, they are paying for these things. That's not the same thing. They still a trade. In this businesses, the guy has a business, took both. They took the money,
it's interesting,
and the things, and they go back and they basically take whatever they took away. They say, well, can I use it? And most of the time they use, because the thing is, one man's trash is another man's treasure, right?
True.
So basically, I'm saying is there are ways you can align your businesses where the needs and the wants of people can align and have that transaction. You know what I mean? Because I want a shed gone because I need the space. Right? I need the space, but space is empty, negative, right? So somebody say, well, I have a shed, or I have some some roofing material, or I have some things inside the shed that's worth something, right? Maybe I can reclaim the wood and sell the wood as a reclaimed wood or whatever the case may be.
Yep.
That's still money. But then I'm also paying the guy to come and give me space. So
Right.
if you think about it, there's always ways you can arrange the needs and want of people. That means that you can have both your free agent nation, and you can have the community as well. You can have your cake and eat it too.
Like we talked about, don't eat the frog, eat the cake. Turn your frog into a cake. Eat the freaking cake. Enjoy the cake.
Think about it.
As much as you want.
There's no trade in this thing.
Right.
Because you're not trading anything.
You're just producing an output of something that matters to you, and your output of what you produce matters to other people.
There's a lot of people who is willing to pay. They'll pay you to get an audience. For example, let's say your dad, or he's retired and he needs to have something to keep his mental clarity. And they say, well, I'm willing to volunteer and teach a bunch of kids, and I'll even pay them to come, you know, so that I can teach them how to scuba dive. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there are people who get value from the negative of it, meaning like, hey, I'm paying some kids to come so that I can teach them, so I can get the feeling of having some mental clarity, just because I wanted that. I wanted that peace of mind.
Yeah, it matters.
I mean, and so I'm paying and I'm teaching. So
it's
I'm giving away my knowledge and I'm giving away my money and time.
It's all that matters at the end of the day, right? Like, I mean, this is all that really matters, is being around people that matter to you, and being able to produce something that matters to you. Like, I mean, like that's really all that matters in life, in my opinion. I mean, that's like that. How you get there is a long, complicated quest that you need to go on yourself and understand. It doesn't have to be complicated, but like it is. I mean,
right,
you know,
but the reason why I bring these stories up is just because I'm saying that there's a lot of things that sound very absurd, but it does have values. Because you say, well, you can't have both. You can't have security and having your freedom, right? I'm saying it seems absurd, but it's possible. You just have to be willing to look for the answers. If you look for the answers that you say, hey, it's not possible, then it won't be possible, because you will be blind to it.
And to see the work world differently too. Like, I mean, because right now, what matters for every single person, I mean, that was one of the key findings that led us down this road too, you know, was like, so culture is so important in the corporate world, and rightfully so, because the more that you can unite people around a cause, the more output they will produce, because it makes the work meaningful for the collective. The problem with it is, and we've talked about this before in the past, the true heart of all these companies is always money and profits, right? I mean, they don't have a mission if they don't make money. So no matter what, when push comes to shove, they have to go. That's their real true core. There's no mistaking about that. Salesforce right now, we're going through a recession. They're going to do what they need to do to protect themselves, to stay in business. Like, all the great stuff that they do when push comes to shove, like for their employees, we'll get thrown out the window.
Right.
You know, and I don't want to. Like, nobody wants to. Like, we all love working there, but at the same time, like, if there is no job to work there, like, they can't do this stuff in the future, you know, kind of thing. They got to protect what they got to protect, you know. And I think we all intrinsically understand that, but you don't really understand it until you have to understand it. And then on the other side of the coin, you know, with the free agent world, like, I mean, it's just all risk. Like, it's just all risk. Like, I mean, they're basically just gamblers. I mean, it's a gamble. Like, I mean, yes, you may feel like maybe you have meaningful work. I don't even know that you have meaningful work as a freelancer either, because you're just kind of hunting for work. Any work is meaningful, you know what I mean? Like, you know, it's a
it isn't. Because when you are in a desperate situation, then you will take the work that you don't want to do. Then you basically get the worst of both worlds, right? You get no security and you're doing work that you don't like.
But my God, it matters that much to be able to be free, you know, like
But people are willing to take that huge risk to find the work that aligns with them. They say, well, at least if I start choosing, maybe there's a slight probability that I may choose the right work that makes me, you know, very happy when I work on it.
Right.
And that's the slim reward that they are
looking
for. And they are taking the huge risk just to get that
little feeling of, maybe this might be more meaningful than having to check my entire identity and all of my life at the door, you know. That if it's that powerful, for somebody that
is.
wanted to go do that. Just imagine if you could do that all the time and still have security. There's people that we've told this idea to. They're like, yeah, I'd do that in a heartbeat. Like that, it makes a million sense. Like to and what I'm afraid of is people going to hear what we're trying to do and they're going to go, we're just going to pay people to do nothing. And I'm going to say, no, that's not what we're doing.
No,
Like
I'll pay
you
you
might
to
see
do
that.
nothing. If I
I
pay
will.
you, I will bet you do nothing, right?
You'll be
At the end of the 30 days, right? If you pay, you're going to beg me to take the money back
I
because
agree.
you are going to hate. If you want to
You
live,
will do something.
you will have to do something. That's
Yeah.
not possible for you to do nothing. If I pay you do nothing, in 30 days, you're going to beg me to take money back. Because then after 30 days, like, just, I mean, even for us to do today, right? You like to wait in line?
No.
Does anybody like to wait in line?
No.
There's
It's
nothing
annoying.
to do
I mean,
because it's so boring. And for
right.
you to stand in line for like 30 minutes, it's like, it seems so long.
Oh my God, this is I'm so glad you brought this up. I despise hating the line. However, I've gotten better at meditating while I'm in line, and this whole journey has helped me to be more calm and
But
can
meditating is
endure the
doing
shit.
something.
That doesn't mean I like it. Just because I can find methods to cope with it does not mean that I like it.
They say, meditation isn't doing nothing.
No,
You can barely survive. He's standing in line for an hour or 2 hours, right? So imagine you do that every day for 30 days, right? And they say, well, you're going to do this for the rest of your life. I'll pay you, right? 30 days, you're going to beg me to take money back because you cannot do that.
Is that our Club Any guarantee?
I guarantee you.
In 30 days, if this doesn't work out, you're just going to pay us and leave. Like, I mean, that's fine.
If I give you a scholarship for 1 year to do nothing, right? And I will take your bet.
I agree with you.
And you can do nothing, right? But you have 30 days to take back, but you have to pay me back the money and interest or whatever, like a bet, right? That's why I'm willing to bet you.
I don't disagree with you. I mean, I think
I'm saying here you have to do something. Otherwise, your life is miserable. It is miserable when you have nothing to do. That's why people hate to stay in line because you are obligated to stay in line because you got nothing else you can do. You would rather want to do something else. Not like, oh, I don't want to stay in line. You don't. I mean, you're not doing anything. Why do you hate it so much?
Right.
Why? I mean, think about it. Why do you hate to stay in line? It's not like you have to do any effort. It's not like you're pushing and huffing or puffing or straining your energy or whatever. You're not doing anything.
Because I got things to do and places to go, and I can't.
No, the things you want to do.
I understand where you're going with this. I'm saying, like, when you're in the moment, you're like, man, I got like 900 things I got to do today, and this line's really slowing me down. I'm not saying it's things you have to do. Those are urgent and important activities that are not first things.
I mean, prisoner can't even stand like a whole week in solitary confinement. They go crazy. I mean, you're talking about prisoners. Imagine if you are a somebody who is an average American or an above average thinker. It will drive you insane.
Why do you think that you and I are like doing this? Like, I mean, it did drive us insane. It is driving us insane. You already did your thing, and this is our solution together. There's just so many talented people that are like, okay, I'm going to say this and I'll probably regret saying this, but I mean this in the nicest way possible. Like, I love my dad. Like, he's an amazing father, and, I'm so happy of everything that he's provided for our family. And he's a great guy. He's got a lot of really interesting things that, he's taught me a lot in terms of being an interesting, unique person and trying new stuff and exploring all that good stuff. Right. But like, if I have to end up as a 65-year-old that doesn't know what's important to me and that lived a life of not doing work that mattered to me every single day, I mean, I would feel miserable. I feel bad for my father, that's right. I'm not saying that has to be forever for him. He's still got hopefully a really long life left ahead of him, like another 30, 40 years or something, maybe, or something along those lines. And I mean, that would be amazing, right? Like, and you could still do meaningful work now, but like the problem is,
but then you wasted the 70 years of your life, 2/3 of your life that you're not doing meaningful work.
Wasted a lot of my life not doing meaningful work, and Amelia woke me up to that, and I'm that's the mission. Is I'm on a mission to I'm on a mission. Like I have a purpose. Like I have a mission, and we're trying to do this stuff together because this matters to me. Like this matters to you. Like this is what matters.
Right.
Like, and I I want that to be able to, I want everybody to be able to do that, you know, and I know that you do too, you know, so like that's what we're trying to do. So let's do it. Like why not both? Like we're gonna make it happen. Awesome. All right. So I know we're out of time. Any other final thoughts for you on this particular one?
No, that's it. You gotta find out the things that you do, and whatever things you do, would you even pay to get to do it?
I would.
That's what you should be looking for,
No,
right?
you're right.
I pay to get food,
I pay to
right?
read a book.
Because I
I pay-
wanted to eat, right? I can eat every other day and you'd
Right.
be fine, right? But you don't
Agreed.
have to, but you wanted to. So find things like that.
Agreed. I think that's a great way to end it. So the question we can provide or give to everybody is, how do you find balance with meaningful work and meaningful relationships in your life? If you don't know where that answer is, let us know. We're always here. Reach out. We'll see if you're one of our Club and E scholarship recipients. Come join the Club and E. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, and we will see you all tomorrow.
That's good. Bye-bye.